remember walking onto the beach in Michigan City after moving here on a cold fall day, kind of windy, staring out at the water, staring out across the water, wind blowing in your face, sand blowing around, and just this great expanse of water in front of you. Just the majesty, the starkness, the majesty. It makes you feel just so small within this whole world, within this universe. And to be able to experience that beauty alone, just sort of like standing there and letting the elements just kind of wash over you. When we live in natural environments, the byproducts of our lives can certainly have a big effect, on the water table, groundwater, and industry can have an extremely profound effect as well.
Anything that we put into the water is going to impact the species that depend on it, whether that's animals, plants, or people. So we can't expect that the human impact of any substance that we put into the water is going to be necessarily minimal. I mean, that impact could over time accumulate and become something that's quite harmful.
As far as pollution, every mill around is going to have some degree of pollution. It's inevitable. There are set standards that the EPA sets. They set a certain amount that is, I guess what you would call acceptable pollution.
We're at a confluence of a couple of different specific ecosystems that occur in North America. Here at the extreme southern end of Lake Michigan, weather helps form these incredible dunes completely out of sand. It's a balance that I think any wildlife or natural or cultural management organization, whether it's federal, state, town, what have you, always has to balance. But there's always going to be a byproduct of human presence. Busy beaches in the summer means an increase in trash along the beach. No matter how well-intentioned people's behavior is, trash gets left behind. It's a balance that you always have to pay attention to. There's no end point or finish point to that struggle.
As far as what goes into the water and where and how, I couldn't give you any particulars, but I'm sure there is something.
Reducing the emissions from coal-fired power plants, that's where a lot of that mercury is coming from, becoming airborne. And then when it rains or snows, the mercury ends up in the lake. Once we know that, once we have that information, it's our job to be stewards of the Great Lakes and to make sure that we reduce that pollution and reduce that impact on our drinking water.
When you create steel, it's basically like making a soup. You start out with a base of molted metals, and you add in whatever ingredients that make different forms of steel. So you put them all together, mix it all up, and that's what you get. But in the process, you're releasing a lot of toxins from all of the different metals. When you make a product like, especially steel, you're going to have some kind of waste, and that's part of the reason that you see so many mills along lakes. In Lake Michigan, you see many mills, both for transportation, because the water is a good way to, it has to do with the processing of everything.
I guess, any pollutant that we're putting into the lake, has the potential to create an absolute nightmare for the Great Lakes, because if we don't start creating stewards of the Great Lakes, then we won't see a difference. We'll continue to see the Great Lakes going downhill, and that would be really a big problem for the region.
If you see a piece of trash, pick it up. Do your best to leave as little trace of yourself as possible.
The Great Lakes are not only a national treasure, but an international treasure. Whether or not, we have tigers, which of course we don't, or whales, whether or not we have those species that are high profile, it doesn't matter. It doesn't take away from the essential nature of this ecosystem, of the fragility of it, of the vulnerability of it, and of our responsibility to protect it. We are standing here on the shores of 20% of the United States fresh surface water. It's our absolute duty to protect it, and it's our responsibility to take care of it.